Hello guys, and welcome back to Gina's Natural Way. Today I put on Facebook, we're going to talk about the life you choose. Which choice do you make every single day? And I posted on Facebook this morning about these two people sitting on the side. One looked like he was depressed and looking like terrible. The other one was looking happy and looking at life in a whole different manner. And the thing is, what I got out of that picture is like, you can choose every single day how you want your life to be. You could choose to be happy. You can choose to look at it in a happy way, or you could choose to look at it in a sad way. The choice is up to you. And so I also noticed they both were sitting on the same row. They both were in the same bus. So the other one could easily have came to the other side and looked out and said, oh, okay, it is beautiful over here, instead of looking at the ugly. And the ugly one could have easily went over there to the other side and looked and said, okay, this is a terrible life. And that's some things that I want to address, because sometimes things happen in life where we can't always control every single thing. We're gonna take a few notes. Let's jot down a few notes, some things that will help us out in life when we're going through some bad things. And sometimes when I do videos or when I do posts, it's not always you need it at that very moment, but I like to still listen. It's kind of like going to church, where you might not be in that situation, but one day you might be there. And so it's something that, take the notes, get what you need out of it. Make sure you guys leave comments. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. All right. So number one, I would say the biggest thing, and also I'm going to give my advice of how I had to struggle even through the seasonal. There's something that's called, they call it the sad disease, seasonal depression or something like that. And it's when you don't have a lot of sun, and it's snowing and it's gloomy, the weather. And it really is a true thing, because a lot of times, I think they said Seattle, Washington, there's a lot of suicides. The highest suicide rate is over there because of the weather. And when it's raining all the time and you're not getting your vitamin D, it is something that takes a lot out of you. And so every year I would focus, and I would even start thinking about the snow coming, probably starting maybe July, August. I'm like, oh, in a few months it's going to be like this. So I will already start thinking about it. And so my husband and I had planned on moving. We were like, okay, we're going to move because he had gotten a job offer in Texas. Although they wanted us to move right then, we couldn't take that offer because it was just forcing us to just pick up and leave right away. So we chose not to do that. And then we just talked and discussed, and we're like, okay, you know what? Let's just stay here. My husband, he'll retire in 15 years. I'm like, let me just focus my energy. Let me get myself together, and let me just deal with it until it's time for him to retire, and then we move away. So that's something that I had to just come to grips with, and I had to totally change my mind, because every year I would go into this thing. And it didn't matter if there was a lot of snow outside or little snow. The first snow that I seen, it would just hit in. And I would just kind of stare out the window. My attitude would change. I wouldn't really want to leave out the house. I was always so cold. I was anemic too the last few winters. And so I was so cold, like you guys don't even understand, like shivering, severe anemia, okay? So I had problems. And so it was a lot different. But now I'm hot, actually. All the time. But yeah, so I was going through, I was going through some things. But I'm going to tell you guys what you can do, okay, to overcome some of this. So number one, the biggest thing I would say is to change your environment. Definitely change the people who you're hanging around. If you're hanging around somebody that is negative, like you, if you have a problem with something, or anything that's going to cause you to feel worse about your situation or yourself, I would say definitely change it, no matter what situation you're in. With me, I even had some people, I'm not gonna lie to you, I had to say to a family member, like, cause she just sat there and started staring out the window, and she's like, oh, this is just depressing me. I said, you gotta go. I'm serious. I'm like, I need to take care of myself. I need to make sure that I am good for my own family, my own kids, my own husband, so that I can keep my energy up and my joy up and be able to minister to other people. I can't have that sad people, depressed people around me. You have a problem, then you need to fix it. So I had to deal with it myself. And then I had to also learn to not hang around, even, like I said, even family members, people who, when you go around them and you feel worse about yourself. And that's the hardest part, is really going around family members and having them to drag you down or to bring you down, not just in what you're going through, but even they can just be negative Nancy's or negative whoever, and talking about people and gossiping all the time, and you find yourself not liking somebody, or you find yourself depressed or feeling terrible just because you've hung around a certain person. Even friends, I mean, that's been really hard because I don't have a lot of friends, and the little friends that I have, it's like I have to cut ties with them sometimes, you know? And so you have to watch your spirit. So definitely change your environment, change the people who you are, change the people who you're hanging around. So, and change your environment too. If something is not, if you're not happy with something, go to your happy place. So for me, like right now, it's snowing outside, and I actually have the window open because that's, like I said, my iron level is up. So I'm beyond good right now. But if you don't like looking out the window, shut the windows. Or either if you don't like the snow, or you don't like wherever you are, go somewhere else. Like I like things like going to the garden where it's still warm inside and there's flowers and it's beauty and there's different things, or go to the mall, or like my husband and I went out the other night and we enjoyed ourselves so much. Go to places that make you happy. Find your happy place, find your environment, do things that make you happy. So, so wherever you are in life, whatever it is, try to go to your happy place, find it, and then physically go there. And I tell you what, it will make you look forward to more stuff to come. So I also look forward to, it's like, okay, that means Christmas is coming. That means I'm finding the beauty in the snow. That means we can go sledding this year. That means we can get out, we can enjoy ourselves a little bit. So that's what you want to do. Look forward to things. Try to find the positive in every situation. Okay. So let's go to Proverbs 17 and 22. And it says, a joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up bones. So you want to hang around people that make you happy. You want to hang around people that's good for you. Like people that you're like, okay, yes, you know, I'm going around my friend today and we always have such a good time and she's so positive. You want to go around people like that where you can call them up and they'll be like, hey, how you doing? Girl, I'm doing fine. And you know, and you want to hang around people that just kind of have a natural glow about them and that's happy themselves. Find good friends, right? Even if it's people on the phone to talk to. I met one of you guys, Janie, and I just loved her spirit. Like literally, me and her just connected, because when I went to Texas, she lived in Texas, and so we met up, and so I text her every once in a while, and we kind of talk, and she's just have a good, genuine spirit. I love to talk about people. Find people even on the phone, people even in the group. If you have something in common with people in the group, go ahead and talk to them and exchange phone numbers where you guys can be pen pals or something, or talk on the phone. But people who make you happy, your happy place, right? Happy people. So, yeah. Okay, let's go to number 2. Know that God's got your back. Right? It's just for a season. So you got to look at things like this is only for a season. Even if you're really sick, you have to look at things like, okay, I know God's got my back. And sometimes it's so hard to look at stuff like that. Like that's the hardest thing to do. I'm not going to lie. It's to look at things like this too shall pass, right? So let's go to Philippians 4 and 13, where it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And sometimes we don't feel like it. Sometimes we don't feel like we can do all things. Let me tell you guys a little story. Back when my baby was just born, and I was going to church and I would go out to eat. Everywhere I took this child just cried so much. And I was 21 when I had my first baby. I was the most self-centered person you'd ever meet. So for me, I was only into myself. I had never dealt with I never really had to be around about other people. I didn't really know how to cook. I didn't really know how to do anything. I didn't know how to be a mom. And so I'm like, man, I take this little baby everywhere and this little baby just cries. So I didn't want to go to church anymore. And I can remember my mom said, this is just a season. This is only for a little while. You know, just enjoy it. You won't even remember these days, you know? Like she told me, just enjoy it. It's going to be fine. And I kept thinking, it's never going to end. Why do I go to church? I don't even, she said, just keep taking him to church. It'll be fine. And every time I take him to church, I'd have to leave out the church because he'd keep crying. So he kept growing up. And to this day, because I chose to keep him in church, crying and all, acting up and all, because he was sickly. He had stomach issues or whatever. And so he cried a lot. And so because I did that, on Sundays that he have off work every other Sunday, he beats me getting dressed. Like, he loves church. So sometimes just look at it like the positive. And my kids now are 17 and 22. They're perfect ages, and I absolutely love it. And I barely even think, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I barely even think about back when they were crying like that, because that was only for a season. And now I get to enjoy my kids so much. We have so much fun. Last night we had the best time with my husband and my 2 kids, and it was kind of like a little party we had, and we danced and laughed, and we just had a really, really good time. So that's what you have to think about. Don't think about just now. Think about, okay, God, I'm going to get through this no matter what it is. I've been through sickness too, and I would see myself being with my family again, seeing myself being well through my depression, everything. I had to start seeing myself in different situations. And yeah, that only lasts for a little while. Even with the season, y'all, let me tell you, I'm like, okay, next year I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, focusing on the future. So definitely know that you can do everything through Christ, and just kind of focus on him, and he'll help you. All right. Number 3, watch your mouth. Watch what you're saying, because you can speak yourself into depression. You can speak death over yourself. The Bible says in Proverbs 18 and 21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Know that that is real, you guys. Death and life. You can speak positive things over your life. You can speak death over your life. You can always constantly say you're sick, constantly saying you don't feel well, constantly saying you hate this, you hate that. Just like the picture. You choose. God gave us free will. We can choose whatever we want. We can choose life, or we can choose death. But the choice is ours. So watch what you're saying to people. Even when you're talking on the phone and you're talking about your problems, you're actually just creating more problems. You're just putting it into the atmosphere. So what I don't do is, I pray about it. I go to God, and I'm like, okay, God, I need to deal with this, or I need to deal with that. Because the more you talk about it, the more you put it into the atmosphere, the worse the situation is going to get. So maybe stop talking so much to other people, and maybe start talking to God a little bit more. All right. All right. And number 4, stay close to God. Stay close to God. When you're in a situation, I know some people that when they get sick or if something happened, they'll kind of back away from God. I'm not sure why, but that's the time you want to get closer to God, is when you're having a problem. Let's go to Hebrews 11 and 6. And it says, and without faith, it is impossible to please God. For whatever would draw near to God must believe that he exists. And so, and there's a little more to that scripture, but we have to understand that God, he's there for us. We have to have faith. We have to know that he's going to see us through whatever situation we're in. God is going to be there for us. God is going to see us through. I just want you guys to know that, and no matter what, he's going to be there for you. Sometimes it feels like he's not going to be. Sometimes it feels like, and you can miss the moment. It's so deep. My husband and I were talking last night, and I was talking about savoring the moment, or trying to be there, for like anything. That's how I am. So if you see me missing, usually I have family in town, or usually my boys don't have school, or it's a holiday or something like that, because I believe in savoring every single moment. I do understand my boys are older, and one day they're going to be moving out, right? Actually, within the next couple of years, they are getting their lives, you raise your children for other people, basically, for their wives or whatever. And so I learned to enjoy every single moment with them. Or like I don't have girls myself, but my nieces came up, like I said, and so I didn't want to spend time, doing videos, I work from home, so I have that luxury. I didn't want to take time out and just, be posting things all day and making phone calls to people and doing stuff. I just wanted to spend time with them. They're like my girls, right? They're like my daughters. And so that's, savor the moment. If you spend so much time on the negative, spend so much time focusing on the terrible things, now I wish I could go back and just be like, man, it would be nice just to have that crying baby for one day, because he's so big now. Like, my kids are so big. And so now it's like, I learned to enjoy every single moment with them, every single moment with my husband. I don't want to spend it arguing. I don't want to spend it fighting with them, or just, I want to enjoy the moment. It's like you never get it again. And it's almost like you live for the memory. So I was telling my husband, I'm like, you live for a memory because it passes so fast. It passes. And today, like, tomorrow never comes, right? Because it's always tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be tomorrow. And so it's like, okay, you need to live for today, right? You need to enjoy them today. No matter what situation you're in, try to find some positivity today, because life will pass you by and you spent the last 6 months being in depression and doing nothing. And your kids are growing, your husband is getting older, or something happened. Learn to enjoy today, right? That's what God wants us to do. So I hope that this video touched you in some way possible. Leave a comment. I would love that. If you're not a part of my Facebook group, please go ahead. I'll leave a link in the description box. Join the Facebook group. Absolutely love it and love the people that's in it. Also, I am finishing my gratitude journal part 2, you guys. I did the 1 and I just love to do the groups together. So I'm working on finishing that, and hopefully, I believe January should be done and ready, so we can get started on a fresh new start for the New Year's, and we can do our gratitude journal together. So I usually do that. But with that being said, I love all of you guys. God bless you. I'll be getting more to a regular schedule because everybody's gone and it's just me. So yeah, so with that being said, I will talk to you all later. Give me a big hug, you guys. Love you all, love you all, love you all. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.